Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is exactly 9:33 a.m. South African time. We cross over to Malaysia and we're going to be talking with Moulana Zakariyah Philander. He is the COO at the MJC Halal Trust. He is in Malaysia at the moment, and we are going to be talking about the Global Halal Summit 2023. Assalamu alaikum to you, Moulana. Welcome to the program.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Is this the first time you attending the Halal Summit, or have you been there in the past?
This is the first time I'm attending the Global Halal Summit that is being hosted by JAKIM, the Department of Islamic Development here in Malaysia.
You know, I was thinking when I saw I'd be talking with you about the issue around halal, and I kind of think, I could be totally wrong, that we in South Africa, Muslims in South Africa, are kind of ahead of the pack. I could be wrong in terms of halal. We're very, very cognizant of the type of foods we consume, where we buy them from. Is it halal? Has it been slaughtered in the correct halal manner, etc., etc., etc.? But is the summit more than just that? The way our meat is slaughtered, where we buy it from, uh, other foods, whether they don't have preservatives that are not halal. Is the summit way beyond all of that? Or and to answer my first comment regarding South Africa being ahead of the pack internationally regarding halal, the halal industry in South Africa.
Um, so, just to put it into perspective, there's about 40 countries attending the Global Halal Summit. And of the 40 countries, there is about 80 some odd certifying bodies that are represented here in Kuala Lumpur. And all the bodies, the certifying bodies that are being represented here are accredited by JAKIM, which is the basically the Department of Islamic Development here in Malaysia. So, you know, I think that speaks volume to the global scale of halal. And while we would like to think as a community in South Africa that we are ahead of the pack, you know, Islam and Sharia is a global phenomenon, and basically the consciousness of Muslims towards their deen, it is a global consciousness. And so what we find that that the consciousness of halal is actually quite global. And we are also finding that the consumer, the Muslim himself or herself, they are much more conscious globally. So while in the past there was perhaps less consciousness about halal, the consumer in general today, you know, it's a more educated and more advanced consumer, a consumer that wants to live up to the ideals of their deen. And I think we might not be better than the rest, but I think we are definitely up there with the top certifying bodies, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah for that. Will you be presenting a paper? And if so, what are you going to present?
Yes, at this particular conference, we are not presenting, but we are participating in the roundtable discussions. And Alhamdulillah, you know, our voices are definitely being heard as a South African cohort.
Has those roundtable discussions happened yet? Can you share anything with us?
Yes, you know, basically the industry is a very big industry. So certification bodies play a big role in the industry, as well as accreditation bodies. Maybe for your viewers and your listeners, the difference between a certifying body is the body that actually does the certification of the meat or the product, and while an accreditation, halal accreditation body, they are that organizations which provide the oversight for the certification bodies. So the certification body has to subscribe to particular standards, a particular quality management system, and so on and so forth. And So we have both accreditors attending the summit, and we have certifiers. So much of the conversation is going around certifiers upping their game and becoming better, and also in terms of the challenges that are associated with accreditation. So there are numerous accreditation bodies, certifying bodies. We have to basically jump through many hoops in order to get um, goods that are manufactured in a particular country, for example, in South Africa, to various countries. So if you want something to enter into Turkey, for example, you have to get accreditation from HAP, which is accreditation body there. If you want something to go into the Middle East, you've got to get accreditation from GAC, which is for the Gulf countries. Then there is SMEC, and so on and so forth. And then there's Jakim, and then there's Moiz. So there's this whole array of accreditation bodies, and sometimes the certification bodies are actually suffering as a result of that. So part of the talks here today is how can we unify the accreditation system? How can we make it more efficient, and also to make it easier for certifying bodies to basically to comply? That is one of the
Another
major challenges that was discussed here. There were other challenges that are being discussed as well, with regard to trade barriers between countries. And then also, there were many opportunities to talk about the opportunities that are present in the industry. So we're not only talking about challenges, but we're also talking about developmental opportunities and how we want to see halal going into the future.
Moulana, I've picked up recently, you might have come across this as well, is in South Africa, we often asking about when people go for Umrah and Hajj, people are questioning whether the meat, the chicken there is halal, given that the bulk of the chicken in Saudi has been imported from South America, from Brazil, I think, to be correct. What's your position on that? What have you heard about it? And would something like that be discussed at the Halal Summit?
Yes, so this is exactly the type of thing that is being discussed at the Halal Summit. I think we are living in an era of credibility. And if you are credible, and then basically your word can be taken. This is notwithstanding the fact that there are differences of opinion with regard to madhahib and different interpretations with regard to certain issues. That is always going to be part of this ummah, and we are never going to all of us agree on a particular point. And this is with regard to halal as well. But the amana is there to provide halal goods. So if the accreditation body in Saudi Arabia is quite a strict accreditation body. They do not give their accreditation. They don't take accreditation lightly. They don't give it to any organization very easily. It's quite a process. So if an organization or certification body has been accredited by the relevant authority in any country, and the goods then that are certified by that certification body enter that country, then the Muslim should trust the process. We should trust the process because it is trustworthy people, and it is a credible process. There might be difference of opinion with regard to fiqh, but that is something that we can live with, and that is not a cause of harm in the deen. In fact, it is a cause of wus'ah. It is a cause of spaciousness in Islam. So if you find yourself in Saudi Arabia, for example, seeing that we're talking about that, then rest assured that the methodology that was employed by the relevant authorities was very stringent. It complies with their understanding of the Sharia. It complies with their understanding of food hygiene and cleanliness and all of the rest. And it is very sophisticated. And so we trust those opinions.
In closing, then, when we look at the Global Halal Summit, and this has been happening for years on end, is it only about consumables, foods, that is the focus only on food, or are there other areas as well that they look at regarding halal issues?
Yes, so the world has become a very small place, and it's not only foodstuffs anymore. So depending on which country, and this is what I was exposed to here. Every country has its own economy and has strengths in the economy, and this has shown the diversity in terms of halal certification. Japan, for example, is a country that exports a lot of raw materials, not finished products. So the certification body in Japan is highly skilled in the certification of raw materials, for example. When we look at India, India is one of the largest exporters of beef, and so the challenge in India then is with regards to its certification is around beef, and then you will find in the more developed countries, the first world countries, that they are entering into pharmaceuticals. There's also the cosmetic
Okay.
industry that is on board. So it is entire range of products, and it's growing. As the years are going on, the product range are just growing. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Let's wrap up then. Anything else you'd like to share with us? I like the fact that you've raised the issue around pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, because that is what we use daily in our lives as well, apart from the halal food.
Yeah.
And
So
that's very
so so
important, isn't
yeah.
it?
So just to add, maybe quickly, South Korea, for example, is represented here, and the Korean, they are exporting a lot of uh, basically their culture is being exported across the globe, and with that, there's also a demand now for products from Korea. So the Korean halal authorities, they have been very busy, because there's a demand for halal food products, for example, and also for their cosmetic lines. So Korea is
Okay.
very big in that, and the certifying body now has basically jumped onto that bandwagon, and so you'll be seeing a lot of halal certified cosmetic products from South Korea possibly coming into our country in the near future.
Very quickly, who are the countries that are being represented at this Global Halal Summit?
Oh, wow! And I'm not going to
Too many.
bundle myself up
Okay.
here. It's
Yeah.
about 40 countries, and
Oh,
all the major ones, first world countries are here. All the majority Muslim countries are here. The minority Muslim countries are represented here as well. So Alhamdulillah, it is quite an array. And I must, if I must say something, and I think this is the last thing that I would like to say, that halal, what I've learned here is that halal is not owned by anyone. Halal is not for sale. Halal, it is something that is divine. It is something that has been being prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And no matter if you're from America or from Saudi Arabia or from Malaysia or from South Africa, if you are involved in the process of accrediting or of certification or of any stakeholder in this halal industry, you are only but a custodian of that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had basically made compulsory upon us. And we are not owners of the system. So it is basically an amana. And as Muslims, we are trying to fulfill that amana to the best of our ability, so that each and every one of us can consume that which is halal and tayyib.
Subhanallah. Thank you indeed. Lovely talking with you. Stay safe and Assalamu alaikum.
Shukran for linking up. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
That was Moulana Zakariyah Philander. He is talking to us from Malaysia, obviously, the Global Halal Summit 2023, and talking to us about everything that's playing out there. Interesting indeed. It is exactly 9:47. Standing by to talk with us is my colleague, and that, of course, is Inayat Wadi.